So the countdown for the Bhawanipur battle comes to an end this morning. West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee is of course fighting that all-out prestige battle from her home constituency, the hotly contested by-poll. And today you're going to be seeing the voting beginning any time now. From door-to-door campaigning to temples and mosque visits, Mamata's campaigned fiercely in Bhawanipur to hold on to her CM chair. Contesting against the Chief Minister at her home turf are BJP's Priyanka Tibrewal and CPIM candidate Srijit Biswas. The constituency is turned into a fortress for voting with additional security arrangements and also the imposition of Section 144. 22 sector mobile, 9 heavy radio flying squad teams and 13 quick response teams have also been deployed in Bhawanipur. Voting is also taking place in Jangipur and Shamsherganj in the Murshidabad district of West Bengal. The counting of votes will happen on October 3rd. Let's take this across to Suryagni Roy. He's joining us live from Bhawanipur. Suryagni, good morning. Has voting kicked off yet?
Well, Akshita, very good morning, and we are back, and it feels like, that we are again in May, but the situation over here is that the voter turnout had just started, and right now these are the first visuals that you can see from one of the polling centers at Bhawanipur. One of the images that is very, very ironic and very, very, great is that the first voter over here is a woman voter, and the first two voters over here are women voters. And however, the turnout doesn't seem to be that great. It's just a couple of people who have turned out to vote right now. What we do expect is that, people will turn out eventually, because polling will happen till 6:30. One more very important thing, as we are still in the middle of the pandemic, we had seen such kiosks in front of voting stations, in front of polling booths, so that people are given hand sanitizers and they are screened, and they have masks and gloves as well. So because that is extremely mandatory, as we saw during the polling in April and May, we are seeing the same protocols that are being maintained right now. And as you said, that this is a high-profile battle of Bhawanipur, where Priyanka Tibrewal is taking on none other than the Chief Minister of West Bengal herself, Mamata Banerjee, who has to be elected to be the Chief Minister of West Bengal. Back to you, Akshita.
Right, let me also bring in Indrajit Kundu on this broadcast. He's reporting also from Bhawanipur. This particular by-poll is so crucial, Indrajit. In the run-up to it, we've seen so much of chaos, violence, both parties going all out. And because of the violence that was reported on the last day of campaigning, unprecedented security, we're being told, on the streets of Bhawanipur to ensure safe voting.
Well, absolutely. Security is very tight as far as Bhawanipur is concerned. It's a very, very high-profile election. Right behind me, of course, is the school where West Bengal Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee generally votes. This is the Mitro institution, if my camera person can show. And you can see right at the gate of the school, you have central security forces which have been deployed, central armed security force which have been deployed. And inside, of course, is the polling booth where we can also see central security inside there. So, of course, very tight security as far as this polling station is concerned. But I'll try and show you right in the morning, as we've started here, started out in the morning, people have queued in large numbers to cast their vote. That was the concern, Akshita, because over the past 48 hours, what we saw in Calcutta was overcast skies. There was a low-pressure depression. And the fear, of course, was that what is going to be the turnout? And that seems to be the concern for a lot of people, because generally in by-elections, we see a lower turnout. And with inclement weather, the fear was that not many people may not turn out. And what we are seeing, good scenes, of course, this morning, because it's not raining anymore, even though overcast conditions, and people are out right from the very beginning. It's 7 o'clock here. That's when the polling station is supposed to open, and people are queuing up in large numbers right now to vote, of course, with full COVID protocol, because all these people who have come here to vote, of course, you can see that they are wearing the mask. What we know, of course, inside are provisions of hand sanitizer and some amount of social distancing, whatever that's possible. Back to you.
All right, Indrajit and Suryagni, we'll keep coming to you through the day to get a sense of exactly how voters are turning out in Bhawanipur. Very, very crucial by-poll. Every single voter currently going ahead and casting their vote knows that. And that's why there's also a huge security blanket, because we've seen a very, very high-octane war between the two political parties that led to violence also on the streets of Bhawanipur. And the other big political story of the day, amid the intense buzz of dumping Congress, Captain Amrinder Singh is likely to meet Prime Minister Narendra Modi today. Two leaders are expected to meet at the national capital to discuss several issues. And the captain's conversation with Prime Minister Modi is expected to revolve around the farmers' protest and also border security in Punjab. This meeting comes a day after you had Captain Amrinder meeting with Home Minister Amit Shah and discussing several issues. Captain urged Shah to repeal the farm laws and also requested the centre to guarantee MSP to farmers. All of this coming after Captain Amrinder Singh resigned from the CM post and spoke out publicly against the Congress, saying that he felt humiliated and his abilities were questioned. The BJP has already wooed the captain, calling him a nationalist and a hurdle for Congress's anti-national activities. So it's clearly Congress versus Congress now. After G23 rebel leader Kapil Sibal lashed out to the Gandhi, saying they don't know who makes the decisions in the party, as it clearly doesn't have a president right now. His statement has angered other Congress leaders. Ajay Maken, Bhupesh Baghel, T.S. Singh, they've all spoken out. Here's more.
From the Punjab mess to this.
In our party, at the moment, there is no president. So we don't know who is taking these decisions. We know and yet we don't know. एक बात तो स्पष्ट है, हम जी हजूर 23 नहीं हैं. ये तो बात स्पष्ट है.
Trouble for the Congress party knows no bounds. With senior Congress leader Kapil Sibal openly taunting his own party leadership, matters have escalated very quickly. Within hours of Sibal questioning the decision-making in the party, Delhi Congress workers reached his residence with placards saying, "Get well soon." Furious party cadres threw tomatoes at his house. They also damaged his car. Not just workers, many party leaders came out one by one to express their strong disapproval of Sibal's remarks.
सिब्बल साहब को नहीं मालूम कौन अध्यक्ष हैं. श्रीमती सोनिया गांधी अध्यक्ष हैं पार्टी की, और वही श्रीमती सोनिया गांधी अध्यक्ष हैं पार्टी की जिन्होंने सिब्बल साहब को बार बार पार्लियामेंट पहुंचाने के लिए टिकट दिया. वही सोनिया गांधी अध्यक्ष हैं कांग्रेस पार्टी की जिन्होंने सिब्बल साहब को बार बार मंत्री बनाया. बगैर कांग्रेस के लगातार बैकग्राउंड होने के सीधे सीधे मंत्री बना दिया.
मुझे लगता है कि कपिल सिब्बल जी भ्रमित कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि ये क्लियर है कि कांग्रेस की लीडरशिप सोनिया गांधी जी के पास है. जितने निर्णय हो रहे हैं कांग्रेस प्रेसिडेंट कर रही हैं. लगातार अपॉइंटमेंट से लेके बाकी प्रक्रियाएं सारी हो रही हैं सोनिया जी के दस्तखत से, उनके निर्देश पे हो रही हैं. तो ये दुर्भाग्य है कि कपिल सिब्बल जी जैसे ज्ञानी व्यक्ति और अनुभवी व्यक्ति और कांग्रेस में सीनियर स्थान रखने वाले व्यक्ति को यही नहीं पता कि कांग्रेस के लीडर विद्यमान हैं.
While Sibal has been vocal in his criticism of party's functioning, another G23 leader, Manish Tiwari, tread cautiously.
In the philosophy of the Congress party, and whosoever leads that party, if they are able to do justice to those core values, I do not think anybody really has a problem with that. Let's not, try and dumb it down to individuals. I think the battle for the idea of India is far greater than any individual or any set of individuals. It is a collective effort. It has to be a collective effort, and you require all progressive and nationalistic forces on board.
The battle lines are clearly drawn between Gandhi family loyalists and doubters. Now, will the Congress High Command be able to limit any further damage? Or is the party going to witness some realignment? With Abhishek Anand and Mausami Singh in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Meanwhile, Navjot Singh Sidhu broke his silence finally. He claimed that he's fighting for the truth and that's why he resigned. The crisis for the Congress but is getting bigger because you had the G23 member Kapil Sibal holding a press conference questioning decision-making in the party.
One full day after his dramatic resignation as Punjab Congress president announced on Twitter, Navjot Singh Sidhu breaks his silence. In a video message released on social media, he spelled out his reasons for the drastic measure that has landed his party in an unprecedented crisis. Sidhu claims he is fighting for haq and such, for people's rights and for the truth.
ਇਹ ਮੇਰਾ ਫਰਜ਼ ਸੀ, ਮੇਰਾ ਧਰਮ ਸੀ। ਇਹ ਮੇਰੇ ਪਿਓ ਨੇ ਇੱਕੋ ਹੀ ਗੱਲ ਦੱਸੀ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਦੋਂ ਕਿਤੇ ਵੀ ਦਵੰਦ ਹੋਵੇ ਸੱਚ ਦੀ ਰਾਹ ਤੇ ਤੁਰ ਤੇ ਮੋਰਲ ਅਥਾਰਟੀ ਰੱਖ ਕੇ ਨੈਤਿਕਤਾ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕੋਈ ਸਮਝੌਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ, ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਆਵਾਜ਼ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਫਲ ਆਏ।
Sources tell India Today the Congress High Command is unlikely to indulge the unpredictable Sardar anymore. The whole mess has emboldened the G23 dissidents to come out once again. According to sources, Ghulam Nabi Azad has written a letter to Sonia Gandhi seeking a meeting of the Congress Working Committee. Another G23 dissident, Kapil Sibal, went as far as saying the crisis is helping the country's enemies.
In our party, at the moment, there is no president. So we don't know who is taking these decisions. We know and yet we don't know.
The grand old party's rivals have come out all guns blazing.
The failure of Rahul Gandhi, the colossal failure of Rahul Gandhi, कोई साधारण नहीं, असाधारण असफलता राहुल गांधी जी का यह पंजाब के पूरे इस प्रयास से सामने आता है।
अब आम आदमी पार्टी ही पंजाब को एक स्थिर सरकार दे सकती है, अच्छी सरकार दे सकती है, ईमानदार सरकार दे सकती है।
Fallout of the crisis is not limited to Punjab alone. Gandhi's siblings have been left embarrassed and will now have to face even tougher questions from within the party over their handling of the crisis. With camera person Hitesh, this is Anand Patel in New Delhi for India Today.
And the trouble continues for the Congress. It's not just limited to Punjab. Within the Chhattisgarh Congress also, there's a big crisis playing out. About a dozen Chhattisgarh Congress MLAs have landed in Delhi seeking a meeting with the party high command. These MLAs reached Chhattisgarh Southern in the national capital and they've raised their pitch against a change of guard in the state. The Baghel camp has been expressing displeasure over the change of guard as the TS Singh DO has allegedly been pitching for a rotational tenure of the Chief Minister post. Bhupesh Baghel had earlier made it clear that he would quit if Congress leaders Sonia and Rahul Gandhi asked him to do so. Last month, both Bhupesh Baghel and TS Singh DO held separate meetings with the party high command at the national capital over the reported 2.5-year power sharing formula. Let's move on to some other stories also that we're tracking this morning. Cyclone Gulab has left behind a trail of destruction. The remnants of the cyclone that hit the east coast of the country brought torrential rain in the western states of Maharashtra and Gujarat. These remnants have also caused flash floods in many parts of these states, destroying shops and uprooting trees.
People being shifted on JCBs. Rivers overflowing. Flash floods. Houses damaged. In a rare phenomenon, the remnants of Cyclone Gulab that hit the eastern coast are wreaking havoc on the western states of Maharashtra and Gujarat. Aurangabad in Maharashtra has suffered extensive damage due to rains. Flash floods have destroyed street shops and uprooted trees.
यहाँ पर जो है तो बहुत तबाही मची गई है, आप देख सकते हैं काफी तबाही मची हुई है। यहाँ पर ही नहीं, बहुत सारे एरियो में भी ऐसी हाल है। हमारा बोलना है कि जिस जिसका नुकसान हुआ, कलेक्टर साहब ने नुकसान की भरपाई करके देना चाहिए।
In Gujarat, the Coast Guard has issued warnings to fishermen to stay away from the sea.
Coast Guard ગાંધીનગરથી બોલું છું. સમુદ્રમાં બહુ ભારે તુફાન આવે છે. બધા મચ્છી બોટોને આગ્રહ છે કે બધા પોતપોતાની જગ્યા પર જલ્દીથી પાછા જતા રહે. અને પોતાના બોટવાળા સાથીઓને પણ બતાવો કે પોતાની જગ્યા ઉપર જલ્દીથી પાછા જતા રહે.
The worst is not over yet. The Met Department has said the weather system could intensify into another cyclonic storm, this time on West Coast.
सारे एक्टिविटी जो समुद्र में होता है, जैसे फिशिंग है या शिप का एक्टिविटी है, बहुत सारा एक्टिविटी होता है समुद्र में, सारा हम लोग मना किया है.
With the cyclone threat looming over Maharashtra and Gujarat, the state administrations are now working overtime to limit damage and save lives. With Gopi Maniyar in Ahmedabad, Bureau Report, India Today.
Let's get you all the highlights from the Indian Premier League. The Rajasthan Royals' playoff hopes suffered another body blow as they slumped to their third defeat, this time at the hands of the Royal Challengers Bangalore. RCB are now in a great position of making the playoffs, while Rajasthan stay at 7th position of the points table. Check out how RCB eased a victory in Dubai.
That's in the gap, and it's timed well enough.
Rajasthan Royals got off to the best possible start, all thanks to their openers. While Evan Lewis was smashing everything to the fence and beyond, Jaiswal was motoring along nicely at the other end.
Not a field of air, you can't have him everywhere. That's the breakthrough.
It was only in the 9th over when Dan Christian broke the partnership that RCB could breathe a sigh of relief. Jaiswal departed for a 22-ball 31. Evan Lewis reached his 50 soon after.
Good shot and a great way to bring up his 50.
And with Sanju Samson for company, the Royals were cruising at 100 for 1 after 11 overs.
You get confidence here in the IPL.
But then, Lewis's wicket opened the floodgates.
Gone. Yes, it is. There's his first wicket. Brought back. Doc spinner. Straight away, there's a chance.
Wickets kept tumbling one after the other, and within no time, RCB were in the ascendancy.
Chahal strikes is such a good bowler. Such a clever bowler as well. The bat. Would that be another wicket? Yes.
The Royals crumbled as they ended up losing 8 wickets for just 49 runs in the last 9 overs.
For the spinner.
Finishing with only 149 after a fantastic start they got.
Perfect catch of the match, and Shahbaz has got 2 in the over and the boat. Well, that will help.
In reply, RCB2 got off to a fine start with both Devdutt Padikkal and Virat Kohli going strong.
Beautifully driven by Devdutt Padikkal. A bit of time, does it? Just. It'll race away for 4. Sweeper boundary.
However, Mustafizur cleaned up Padikkal in the final over of the power play.
It's the final over of the power play. And that's a good effort again.
Riyan Parag then sent Virat Kohli back in the hut with a direct hit that caught the RCB captain short.
Is it good enough? Is it good enough to get rid of Virat Kohli? Well, that's huge.
But KS Bharat and Glenn Maxwell then got a partnership going to end Rajasthan's hope.
Scrunched downtown. 50 for Glenn Maxwell.
Even though Bharat got out 6 short of a 50, Glenn Maxwell got RCB home with a consecutive half-century.
Played a really good innings of 44. 1 run required, and that will be enough, maybe.
With that victory, RCB bagged 2 important points and are virtually through to the playoffs.
A win for the Royal Challengers.
Sports Bureau, India Today.
Brilliant at the back end with the ball.